Hello, friends. Welcome, welcome. How about we do the Zoom wave at the beginning rather than at the end? And how about making a new Zoom wave, some kind of new Zoom wave you haven't done before? Out of the frame, into the frame. And I also want to ask how many of you actually, great, Darlene, how many of you, she came in from the top, for those of you who didn't see that. And how many of you paid any attention to what you're wearing on the bottoms today? Just want to have you, okay, yeah, hands up on that. Yeah, I realized that I put together a whole outfit, but you never see the bottom part of it. So I think now we should all kind of get up and parade around a little bit and show off our bottoms. Love it, love it. Well, one thing I wanted to start with today was just sharing with you that we had some technical stuff and my sound wasn't working. And Michele suggested, why don't you just restart your computer? And Gay said, basically back away from the computer and take a breath. So the tendency when there's jangles, and there are so many jangles right now, and not of our own creation, but we're at the effect of so many jangles and what I realized is that the loop of awareness can function as a restart. So loop of awareness is not only a way of keeping circulation going, but it's a restart for your whole system. So of course, when I restarted the computer, I actually also went into the other room and got some water and came back, and everything worked. So the main reason for sharing with you both loop of awareness and love scoops is that our attention is a nutrient. I'd like you to just take that in, that your attention and the attention of others is one of your most basic nutrients. It is as important as water and food. And it's probably the nutrient that we give ourselves the least, because we also feel like there's an infinite supply of it. We use it up mainly by not circulating attention. And circulating attention, I'd like you to just take your hands and play with having one of them go out and having one of them come in. And play with different speeds of doing that. And when your hand goes out, notice where it's going. And you can have one hand going out while the other is going in. Mostly we have both hands going out. So notice what it's like to have both hands, they're just going out and going out and going out. And even just as I'm doing that with my hands, I start feeling more drained. Patrick is yawning. And if you have it like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you're not your attention, but stuff coming at you. For me, that's one of the biggest sources of the jangle. So I'd like you then now to play again with what's the most pleasant rhythm for you to move your hands. Moving them out, moving them in. And what would be the easiest one of your senses to remind you to shift? Because the big skill in what we call loop of awareness is simply shifting your attention. And the idea here is that you have more and more freedom. You create more and more freedom in how you're choosing to use your attention. That's the point, is that you get to choose not everything that's going on around you, not what you're hearing, not what you're seeing on the news or in social media. You get to choose. And as I'm saying that, I'm thinking of a couple of different cues that you can try on. So you could use your breath as a shift move. So when you're breathing, you can shift your breath. If you're breathing in, that might be a cue to move attention this direction. You're breathing out. You don't have to time it, but it's like a clue. It's a shift clue for you. So for me also, my hearing is an easy shift move. So it doesn't have to come through your eyes. Although most of our attention we do exchange through eyes. But what if you could use what you're hearing outside as a way to shift your attention? Like, what are you hearing right now outside of you? And notice what it's like to let your attention shift through your ears. And that's different than letting it shift through your eyes, and also a multidimensional way of using your attention. And how about through your feeling? So body sensations are a way that you can shift in. You can notice, like I'm noticing my feet. I'm noticing the place between my shoulder blades. So that's another shift move. And feeling into the space around you is different than looking at the space around you. So let yourself shift your attention by first feeling in to you, and just feeling into, what am I sensing right now? And then feeling out, feeling into the space around you. So some of us are more auditory, some of us are more visual, some of us are more kinesthetic, and I bet a bunch of us are a combo plate, that we combine senses. So I'd like to invite you to shift between visually looking out and visually looking in, visually hearing out what's going out around you, and then hearing inside. What are the sounds that you can hear inside? Like I can hear there's a little kind of that I can hear in my neck, and giving my attention to it. So does your attention stay with your senses? Are you with your senses? Are you out ahead of them or behind them? So choose a sense that's not as familiar to you, and let yourself play with it, of particularly changing the pace. I want to invite you to use the times where you're practicing loop of awareness and love scoops to get luxurious. I'd like you to spread out into it the way one of our cats spreads out onto a new duvet that's just been washed, or towels. I brought towels in the other day, and I brought them in, and within 2 seconds, one of the cats was on them. But then she had to move around and knead it a little bit and circle 4 or 5 times and then settle down into it. So how can you be luxurious in the way that you're letting your attention move out and you're letting your attention move in? So the key thing here is shifting. That's what gets the circulation going. So if it's all going one direction, not only can you get drained or overwhelmed, but you're not circulating. And In every aspect of our lives, flow is primary, circulation is primary. And so, especially if you're feeling stuck, feeling low energy or frantic energy, notice what happens when you simply shift your awareness, shift your attention. Now, the other thing I want to ask you to add in is shifting and landing, and then kind of rippling. Shifting, landing, and settling. Shifting, landing, and then settling. When I do that, I find my breath expanding, particularly out to the sides. And the other thing is that we're such a forward culture, the drive, the forwardness. So a whole other way of shifting your attention is shifting to the sides of you and shifting to the back of you, using your different senses and luxuriating. Another verb that I love for loop of awareness is savoring. So when I'm savoring, like I'm, thinking of taking a bite of something that you really enjoy, you're probably not going to go, but you're going to take it and let it land and then savor. And you can do the same thing with your attention, letting yourself savor that. Now, with all of that, I'd like you to let yourself now realize that the pool of love is all around you and within you. And so I'd like you to notice, where are you wanting to scoop up some love, and where does it want to land in you? So we usually go from the pool that we have our feet in, which is just great, but I'm feeling inclined to go side today. Like, when I'm with a friend, which, I haven't had a friend right next to me for several months now. So you can imagine a friend that you haven't been able to see, and reach out and feel them and love them, and then bring their love in to you. And then you can use your other side to reach out, landing on that friend and the qualities that you love about that friend. And you can bring all those qualities in and let them land anywhere in you that's wanting some more juice, that's wanting some more opening. And all of the people, I was thinking too of all of the people in my past whose love has contributed to me. So you can let yourself reach out behind you and gather those people and bring that love in, and actually feel them having your back. You can feel them backing you up, and the hand of someone that has really contributed to your life, having that hand on your back. And then you can let your hand come out and imagine somebody that you love, or maybe even somebody you don't know and you'd like to have their back. Let your attention come and back them up. Gotcha. I gotcha. And anybody in the wider community, those you know or that you don't know, I'd like you to let your hand of love reach out and support them. And then the love that's available to you all the time and all around you, I'd like you to let that come in. And make the pleasant sounds. When I do that and I have my hands here, I can not only hear it, but I feel it through my hands, and I can feel it in my sternum, and that lovely sense of Beautiful. So we're doing something a little bit different today. We're going to move now into a Q&A time for those of you who are interested. And the way we're going to do this is, Michele, how about you going to see if we have ones that are written in, and you can either, if it looks like, it's one that's clear, you can just read them out. Otherwise, we can unmute the person. And here's the thing. You can continue doing loop of awareness while we're doing this. And notice how that affects just your receiving and your sense of being with the community.
All right. So go ahead and write your questions in the chat. And I saw before there was a comment question from Berna that said, it was talking about, I'm looking for it now, about giving our attention to someone who we might have uncomfortable feelings, or we have stories about being uncomfortable. So I thought that was a good one that you might want to speak to.
Yeah, that's great. So in that, if I got a jangle going, what I like to do is to first give myself attention where I'm feeling the jangle, because it's almost always going to be fear. And notice the quality of the jangle. And I like to first give myself a lot of rich attention, like, oh, I'm feeling, so uncomfortable is code for fear. So uncomfortable is I'm scared. So if you can just acknowledge, oh, I feel scared. When I think about this person, I feel scared. And to literally love yourself for feeling scared. And then what I like to do is to let my attention go around that person, because instead of right at them, because when I go right at them, I tend to bring up more of my own fight. But if I'm going around them, I'm giving both them and me space to move. I might also acknowledge, just out loud, or in my own mind, I feel scared, and I want to give attention and I don't. So that's another thing I find really valuable, is so that I'm not pushing myself to do something. I'm really acknowledging how it is. I both want to give attention and I'm scared too. I want to give attention and I'm still really pissed off. So the acknowledging, but the thing I want you to add in there, Berna, is circulating. Because there's a tendency, whenever there's an upset or a jangle, there's a tendency to get stuck in one direction or the other. And I find that just simply circulating my attention, it cleans the pipes. And then I get a better idea of what's actually going on and what I actually want to do. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for asking about that.
Great. And Brian asked, how can I create more space and friendliness around shifting, giving my attention?
Well, the thing that comes to me, of course, is practice. That's but how am I going to remember to practice? How because when we get caught, that's the thing. When we get caught, we've stopped circulating. So I'm either going to be caught out or I'm going to be caught in. So for me, the key move is whenever I feel just not in bliss, I'm going to notice where my attention is. But especially if I'm wanting to navigate something, or I'm at an impasse, or I have something going on, I guarantee you that your attention, my attention, is going to be stuck. So just simply shifting, and whatever cues we've used a whole bunch during our time together, I would make yourself a little menu of the top 3 that work for you. So one of them would be one of them for me is I use my body. that really makes a difference. For a lot of people, breathing, noticing that how they're breathing is a cue. It's like, what's your portal to practice? What's your easiest portal to practice? And for some people, it would also be body sensations. So noticing the place where I'm feeling stuck and letting my attention go there, and then letting my attention go to someplace else. Because often if we're stuck inside, we let our attention go and we're sort of digging into it, or, we're working on it. And by simply shifting to a place where you're not stuck in your body, it reminds you, there's flow. I feel stuck here, but I also have all of these things that are working and circulating and flowing. And so it gets you out of the logjam. So does that help, Brian?
Great.
Hold on, Brian wants to respond. Yeah, it's fine, Brian. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was really helpful. And the new one for me is feeling the space in the room. I instantly felt a lot safer. So thank you.
Oh, great. Oh, good. Yeah, I part of my intention in these looping practices is to keep sampling so that we really get just what a full range of attention we can all draw on. The reservoir is really big. Yeah, so thanks, Brian. Appreciate that.
Great. So let's see. Jason had asked, what's the difference between not following my essence and genius versus using discipline to do something hard that I'm not great at, like editing?
Okay, that's a great question. It's a very comprehensive question. Okay, so we opened the first page of the book about this. The discipline, I'm drawn to the word discipline. And discipline, one of the things I learned from Gay years and years ago is that discipline is really comes from your knowing that you have a right to be here, and that discipline is choosing to care for yourself. It's really keeping agreements with yourself. It's in the agreement part of the 4 pillars. And if I'm trying to control myself, that's almost always going to have fear under it, and that I'm probably not recognizing that this is something that's not in my area of genius. If it's in the area of incompetence, unless it's something like you feel completely incompetent at sex, that's probably something you would want to develop some skill. But mostly in incompetence, you want to delegate it in some way if it's something that needs to be done. Where that often comes up is in the trap of excellence, that disciplining yourself. Like for me, I'm an excellent organizer. I'm totally convinced that I could run the country, and certainly could run it a lot better than it is being run right now. And that comes from my ability to do what I say I'm going to do. And discipline is really, I do what I say I'm going to do with myself. So the whole area of discipline, I think, gives us a springboard for letting genius bloom. Because if I do what I say I'm going to do, it's another way of circulating. I'm not creating a kink in the hose by saying I'm going to do something and then not doing it. So I find that once I really got that discipline is my choosing to both grow a new skill or change something, and it's by the practice of agreements with myself. And what that does is allow more open space for essence to emerge. But then it's also involved with control and sorting the 2 files. So that's why I'm saying there's a whole book in there. But that's what I would start with, is that, do I make agreements with myself that I keep? And do I make the agreements with myself that I'm really wanting to make? Yeah, great question. Thank you. And I saw another one going by. Do we have another one?
Yeah. So Julia said she noticed as she rides the waves of energy coming through, her nervous system begins to shake. And sometimes at night, she allows the shaking to fully come through, yet eventually she chooses to stop it. What other ways can she relate to these bigger waves to help integrate the energy rather than hold it back?
Well, my sense is, again, I'm getting the sense of the around, because this one feels like a vertical energy. And I invite you to let yourself, Julia, to become a whole river where you have currents and you have little side streams that you let yourself occupy the circulation around you as well as the vertical.
Great. Claudia has a question. I think it'd be easier, Claudia, if you ask that question yourself. So can you unmute yourself and ask that?
Let me find Claudia.
Hi.
Ah, there you are. Hi, Claudia.
Hi. I've made a commitment to give support to my daughter who just had a baby. The baby's 5 months, and her fiance. They're young adults, and there's very little reciprocation, or there's much delays, and I'm feeling so undernourished regarding them. Do you have any and pissed off? I was like pissed off so long yesterday. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, one thing, I'm hearing that you're capping your voice. You're just being very nice. And
but also they can hear me if I talk loudly.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So one of the first things I would do is to go out on a walk and go out in a space where you can make a lot of noise and make a hell of a lot of noise and just express your pissed offness and have a mini tantrum and give that to yourself anytime that you need to.
Okay.
And then the second thing is, who can you call on to support you? Just with a Zoom call, a FaceTime, where you get to share what's going on for you. So I would get a team of your own friends so that and say, would you be willing to support me, with 5 minutes of listening to me? And if you have a team, then they won't be overrun also. But, you're doing a big thing right now, and filling your own reservoir and expressing so that you're not having to always be careful.
Thank you.
Oh, sure. You're very welcome. Thank you.
And Katie, could you speak to, there was a question there about I'm thinking relates to your integrity deck and speaking to learning about agreements through that, because there was a question about how can we learn more about agreements.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm actually, I'm contemplating teaching a whole year-long class on integrity starting in January. That's sort of my plan right now. And because what we need right now, what the culture needs and what the world needs right now is a new structure, because the old structure sucks. So the new structure is really based on integrity, not from a moral standpoint, but from an actual structural standpoint, that integrity gives you an internal structure that's aligned with reality and allows you to be fully present without kinks in your system. And it's based on our 4 pillars of integrity, which we've been exploring for decades. And the integrity deck are cards about the different integrity moves and how we can practice those and what each of them add to our ability to experience wholeness. And I want everybody in the world to have the ease, the flow, the creativity, the connection that comes from practicing integrity. So on the Foundation for Conscious Living, we have quite a few videos now on the integrity deck, on the cards in the integrity deck, and I keep making them. And we have this last one is one of my favorites. So if you and the recent ones have been on responsibility, which is a key element of what's not working in the world right now, of people not understanding responsibility or how to take it. And so I invite you to go and take a look at that. And the integrity decks, we sell those. They sponsor, and Terry is holding one up for those of you who can see Terry. She's on page 1 of the of the participants. And it's such a cool thing because it allows your different senses to open to exploring these different qualities of being. So instead of having the world press on you, you have this inner architecture that's very spacious and allows you to create without having things fall apart. It's really, I'm thinking of that biblical phrase about building your house on sand. So the way our culture has really built a structure on sand, and the whole thing has been crumbling. And this structure it's like giving you a new skeleton that is full of life and vibrance. So you can explore those, and there's lots of information about them on the Foundation for Conscious Living, and they also, those decks, buying those supports the foundation. So we would love to have you do that. Okay, how about if I take one or two more and then we'll finish up for today. I'm just so happy to see all of your faces, and I appreciate you staying on for the Q&A.
Yeah, let's see if there was another question. So Shannon asked a question about getting past physical pain in order to accomplish this. And so it sounds like migraines and.
Well, I don't advocate getting past. So the loop of awareness is a way for you to meet and be with. And what I have found is that if I'm circulating my attention through something that's painful, physical sensation or something that's going on in my body. I had a lot of practice with this when I broke my hip 3 years ago. So I'm very acquainted with what do I do about pain in my body? How do I get through it? And I'm thinking, well, here I am. So I have had lots of practice of giving my attention to and being there with the physical pain, and then this is a place where doing loop of awareness is very valuable. So I feel that, and then I can give my attention to some place in my body where I'm feeling flow, where I'm feeling good, and I can circulate my attention between those two places. I can also give my attention to something in the environment that I enjoy. So I might give my attention to some music that I'm listening to, and then letting my attention come back to the area that hurts, and then again out to the music, or out to some, the light, or, I can see birds out of my window, and then back to the pain. So I'm not trying to get through it. I'm making more space in it and around it. And my experience has been that the sensation changes in a way that I can be with it rather than moving away from it or stiffening myself. And that when the quality of the sensation changes, it's because I've created more circulation. So I've also learned that pain is really a portal that I can go into pain and discover all kinds of different sensations. And that as I do that, there's a different weave that happens of sensations and things start to open up. So I would love to have you experiment and, let us know what you're discovering when you play with a loop of awareness with a painful sensation or condition. Okay, do we have any more?
I think we are up to date. I don't see any new questions there. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was great fun. And I think we might do this again in a few weeks. So if it's been of value to you, let us know. And this is the most fun thing that I do during the week in public. And so I love it that you're joining. And so how about now we all unmute and you can make sounds and gestures before we all say goodbye.
Katie. Q&A was great.
And you can change your Zoom wave in another way. And I'm seeing more people that I recognize and some people that I don't know that I'm saying hello to. Yeah, wonderful. All right. Well, abundant and full of attention week to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie.